Chris, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for graciously traveling all the way down from Glasgow for these 2 days. Obviously, we'll talk more about that later. The First 365 podcast, all about your first year in business, the struggle, the challenges, and the success. Why, first of all, should people care what you have to say on this podcast?
Yeah, mate, thanks for having me. It's been good to be down here. Obviously spoke and connected with you online, and then now here in person, getting to see how things work down here, and it's been great so far, mate. So appreciate you sharing everything that you know. I'm probably not sleep tonight with my brain being that active, but yeah, why people should listen to me, mate, is that the people who I help, which is personal trainers and online coaches, I help them grow their business. I've been exactly where they're at, like quite fresh as well. So I've been the PT who can't get clients to eventually being the busiest in my gym, to then that being my downfall. I've been burnt out. I've started to lose my passion for the job, despite the fact that I've been making good money. And then I've fixed it. I've learned how to fix it. I've got help. And then I've did what a lot of PTs would perceive to be the epitome of personal training, which is opening your own gym. So your own gym with your own logo up in the lights, which was great. Did that for a couple of years, brought my now fiance onto the business, hired members of staff, and then sold the gym. And now I'm in a position that I'm passionate about helping coaches. I no longer have that passion for helping clients lose weight and stuff like that. And yeah, mate, I just wake up every day just ready to help the coaches that we serve, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Cool. Fitness coaching. I've obviously worked in this industry, not as niche down, but we've worked with loads of personal trainers, online coaches, and some of them are really doing well and some of them are really struggling. What is the difference between your successful online coaches and how much money do they actually make doing online coaching as a personal trainer who's converted to that?
Mate, I think the income is crazy varied. It really is. Like, when you think of the average salary in the UK of someone who's deemed to have a better job, we've got coaches in the program who are earning more than lawyers, judges, which is crazy to think.
Which is how much?
64k a year, 84k a year, 100k a year. So I think the biggest difference that takes a PT from 3k to 5k to 10k, 100k a year, there isn't massive gaps in it. I think there's probably some fitness business owners watching this right now and thinking, I've only just made 3k per month. How the hell do you get to 7 or 8? And I remember thinking to myself, I sat there and I went, do I just keep charging an extra £5 per hour? That's genuinely what I thought. And I went, I'm in the Glasgow city centre. There's no way I can charge £100 an hour. They won't pay it. But it's not until you actually see the roadmap and how to do it, how you can change your business model, how you can structure it, how you can improve your skill sets that doesn't rely on you being in front of a person on the gym floor. So personal training does get to a cap. Most personal trainers will get up to about 7k, 8k per month if they're not maybe in London, for example, where they can charge that higher rate. But then it's all relative, isn't it, in terms of your cost of living. So for Glasgow and Scotland and parts of England as well, you can look at being a successful PT. I mean, success is different to everyone, but I think getting to about 6 or 7k is a very good place to be, because like I said again, it's more than most more qualified job. You've got 4 years at uni and you'll probably not make that for some jobs. So I think that's very, very reasonable. There's not a lot of people who will tell you that. They'll tell you that it can be 15k or 20k. But in my experience, coaching hundreds of people and being there, I think about 7k is a good place to be. The problem and the solution then is the online coaching, you're not trading time for money. So you're not meeting someone at a time, at a destination, where they give you money for your time. And as much as personal training, you can include a lot of other stuff to get paid as a service and not just time. You do have a limit. You've only got so many hours in a day. So where online coaching becomes far more scalable is that they can do it from anywhere. They don't have a set time to meet a client, so then they can build a bigger client base. And the income can go from 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50k per month, depending on how far you take this, how willing you are to put the work in and learn. So I think that's the difference, mate.
What do you I think it's really interesting, because when we talk about your first year, you've had multiple businesses, which is what you've just explained. What were the kind of pivotal moments in those different businesses where you've thought, I've had enough and I need to do something different? And, you know, there's a saying out there that those who can't do, teach. How big was your PT business in terms of revenue per month, clients, before you decided to switch, which kind of gave you the confidence that, you know what, I've kind of sussed this in terms of building that business and I can teach others how to do it now? What was that switch that went off?
Mate, there was two big switches for me before I really got the breakthrough and realised that, okay, I've got a waiting list. The first big breakthrough was that I was working part-time in Ladbrokes, which we help a lot of coaches who are maybe in the police, they're in these jobs that they've spent a lot of time getting to where they are. Then they realise they've got a passion for fitness, and then they kind of want to turn it into a profession. So for me was that I had no savings, I had no money behind me. My mum doesn't have any money. And when I qualified in my personal trainer course, I then got a job in Pure Gym. But in order for me to keep the money coming in, to afford petrol to get there, to pay for parking, I kept the job in Ladbrokes as a manager, and that was paying me about £750 a month.
On like a gambling floor?
Yeah, Ladbrokes, the bookmakers. And, you know, going from being in the gym, seeing people want to change their life, personal trainers who are, you know, positive and stuff, to then go back in and, you know, people putting fag outs out in the floor and swearing at you, thinking you're cheating them in the roulette machines. Crazy, man. It was so different.
Yeah, of course.
And then I was doing 25 hours a week there. So you can imagine 25 hours in Ladbrokes, 15 hours in Pure Gym, which was classes, cleaning, you know, shifts, being there to help people. You know, so it was 40 hours before I'd even made a single penny personal training someone. But in my mind, it was like, yeah, I'm here. People will come to me. Like, I'm in the gym, I've got my uniform on. But then I quickly realised that, well, yeah, you've got your uniform on, but you're in the staff room having a chat with mates. So then I didn't know that, okay, people won't just come to me. So the pivotal moment for me was breaking point. It was like, right, you're doing 40 hours. You're excited by your new career, but you're not making money from it because this gym doesn't pay you. That's the trade-off for you being there. And then I said, right, I need to go all in here. Like I said, I never had a great money mindset either, so I wasn't putting money away. And I was like, right, okay, I need to hand my notice into Ladbrokes. And that was the first pivotal moment for me, Aaron, where I went, next month you're not getting $750. You know, I was staying at my mum's, never had a mortgage and stuff like that. Next month you're not getting $750, you need to go and get your $750. So that was the moment where I actually got out of the staff room, started to speak to people, started to move it from, do you want help like with that, or do you want to sit down and chat about it? Do you want to sit and chat about your journey and turn it into more of you're becoming a business owner? That was the big first point. And because I knew that wage wasn't coming, I just went off. That was me.
This is like burn the boats.
Yeah, burn the boats, exactly that. There's no going back now. So that was the first moment. And the next big moment for me was that I was in demand, but it's that whole thing where somebody would come at me and say, okay, I couldn't get my head around, mate, people paying me money to personal train them. Someone handed me £300 cash one day, mate, and I couldn't believe it.
And you went back to Ladbrokes.
I literally said to her, are you sure? Because like that feeling of making £300 from someone to help them.
You brought the objection.
Yeah, mate, genuinely.
You're objecting to getting the money.
Yeah, she went to the bank machine and said, I'll be back in a minute. And I'm just kind of standing there like, she's off. She's never coming back here.
Oh, right.
Straight in, and she just gave me the £300 for, I think it was 10 sessions at the time, £30 an hour. And I thought, right, I'm onto something here. So then fast forward the getting busy, the people in demand, I still didn't know how to run a business. You came to me and said, what you did when we spoke on the call, you know, how are you getting clients? How much is the income? Where's the goal? What do you want from the business? Someone asked me that then, I'd have crumbled. I never asked myself it. The PTs round about me weren't talking like that. There wasn't an awareness of it. It was just, to be honest, mate, it was, how busy are you? Why are you not in the 6 a.m s? Oh, you're not busy enough. That was the dick swinging that went on back then.
Yeah.
Now it's income. So that was the next moment, mate, where I was like, I've got clients, I'm earning 3k. Do you know what? Ladbrokes, I used to earn 1900. I'll take 3k, but 5k, you know, next month, 3k the next. Calm down. You shouldn't even be here. You're in Glasgow City Centre, personal training people, giving you a lot of money. That imposter syndrome kind of came over me. And I got to the point, mate, where I had this employed mindset, because every job I'd got promoted, and I was part of a team. And I very quickly realised that actually, you know, Pure Gym at the time were expanding massively, opening gyms left, right and centre. and I was like, I could get an assistant manager position for them because I like to be a manager. When actually it was because I was hiding away from the metrics, the facts, the fact that someone would, cancel on me last minute and I wouldn't charge them because I had no systems in place. The fact that a client would buy 4 sessions or 12, basically like a prostitute selling time for money. And then I was like, right, let's just easy way out here. Let's jump on a manager's position and I'll grow within the company.
Yeah.
And that's when I never got it. Believe it or not, I never got a position that I was very much overqualified for. And that's when I'm back to drawing board. I cannot believe this. Another PT who could...
Down to like workplace politics. Is there a lot of workplace politics
100%,
in the gyms?
Yeah.
That kind of brown nosing.
I definitely had a bit of a pull with other PTs because I was helping them. I knew... When you're working in commercial gyms or any gym, right, unless it's independent, whether it's like private, whatever, they want you to serve their members, right? You're in there to run a business. Now, you think that's the perfect harmony because the gym wants you to be nice to their members, good customer service, and in doing that, if you build rapport with your members, you get them as clients. But what often happens is that you have to follow their protocols, and sometimes you're selling their courses, selling their classes, and it's like, no, we know that classes are a plaster over a leaky bucket. Personal training is what you probably need to change your habits for long term. So there's always a conflict, and you always saw that they cared about their members more than they did the staff, and it came across. So yeah, mate, that's exactly it. There was politics behind it. The face had to fit, like a lot of workplaces. I'm sure people listening can relate. So I never got it. It was the biggest, most thankful moment of my career, mate. The job was for 18 grand a year. And I
the assistant manager job?
Yeah.
And you continue building your PT
full-time,
business?
40 hours a week. That's what the job was.
You continue training your clients or no training, just managing the gym?
You can train your clients, but it's like frowned upon because it's like showing that you care more about your PT business.
Wow. So it's like one or the other in the PT world.
They say you can to make the money up. But if they come in, if a manager was to come in, a regional manager, and the gym was a mess and your personal training instead of managing in the office.
Yeah. Well, how is, one thing that I always noticed about commercial gyms is sometimes it's a bit weird when you see personal trainers with cleaning equipment, and there's never really been a time where I've seen any personal trainer in the gym enjoying cleaning and maintenance. Why, first of all, why does that happen? Second of all, why don't, I know a lot of gyms have cleaners and then PTs don't have to do it. What was the case in Pure Gym? And do PTs actually, I wouldn't say enjoy that, but are they happy to sacrifice hours to cleaning? Is it worth the trade-off? Obviously there's some incentive why PTs are having to clean gyms.
Well, the way it works, Aaron, is you've got 2 options in most gyms. Option number 1 is that you pay rent. So you pay 5, 6, it's different every region. You pay £500-600 to say, here's your money for me using your space. I'll wear your uniform. Leave me alone. I don't owe you any hours. I don't have to help people with the vending machines, that kind of thing. But quite often you can't just get straight onto that because some gyms do they kind of say to you, well, how are you going to afford that or whatever, even though it's none of their business, right? That's one way. The other way is you give back time. So when I was coaching, it was 15 hours. You had to give back 3 5-hour shifts where you said, okay, I'll work Monday, Wednesday, Friday for you. In that time, I'll do classes, I'll clean, I'll help members. Now, when you look at that, a lot of coaches look at that as, you're stealing 15 hours from me. But for me as a coach starting out, mate, I had access to 30 people in a class. I've got a diary to fill, which is in this gym, with people who go to that gym. 2 of the biggest things when it comes to working with somebody in person, they already go to the gym, they've got a membership. Yeah. They know how to get there. They're in the gym physically.
They're invested.
Yeah. Whereas what a lot of personal trainers do now is they go onto Instagram or social media and try and find clients to come to them. It's like, you have a conversation in your DMs, the first thing they say is, where do you work out of? And you say, I work in Pure Gym in Birmingham City Centre. And they go, okay, I'm 12 miles away. I can't get there. Oh, what about online coaching? It's like, you're a personal trainer. Fill your diary, number 1. So that's the people who slate it. That's the advice I would give them is, look, they're right there in front of you. Go and chat to them like a human being. Easiest way to sell to someone, mate, is in person. They get the energy, they get the vibe, they trust you quicker. You can do it, have all sorts of ways of showcasing your ability to them. So it's like an addition, your shift work. Now there gets to a point, mate, where we talk about burning boats, where you're busy, you start to resent your shifts because you know your value now. 15 hours, that's 15 times £30 an hour, £40 an hour. That's how much I'm losing. So you get the coaches, right, and the personal trainers who will just sit, pay the shifts, do the shifts, build their PT business, and that's them comfortable. And they'll never bite the bullet to the next level, which is paying the rent. Now I think they've changed it slightly where they have options where you can go 15 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, and it phases down, which is great for coaches, for them to just be like, okay, I want more time back. So they're a lot more flexible right now. They had to be, because it was zero hour contracts as well.
So do you think
in terms of cleaning, in terms of cleaning, it's what you make of it, mate. It's like, see, if you're trying to build your business, as long as you're doing all the right business things to grow it, get the cloth out, but make it work for you. Get the cloth out, mate, but do it in a way that you're chatting to members.
Yeah.
I used to clean the treadmills next to someone on it. It was my way in from, instead of me going, hi, how's your training going?
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Just clean that, I'll get that after you. How's your training going? Like, make a joke. But PTs are quick to go, I don't want to clean, I don't want to be on shift. Put your money where your mouth is then and pay rent.
What's the, there's a lot of, obviously, testosterone and ego in the gym anyway. What's the kind of feel when you were in the first 365 of your journey of being a new PT coming into that environment? Was it open arms, everyone, having that camaraderie, or was there a lot of competitive envy and jealousy for the people who had the most clients? Was there, I don't know, was there people taking priority for, if a new member comes into the gym, or you can't speak to them until Top Gun has spoken to them? I don't know what that looks like from the other side, but from the customer side, it feels like that's what's going on, because you see the bigger personalities all the time, always having conversations with people in the gym, and then you see the kind of skirmish side PTs that are just, they're doing the thing, but they're not really making much noise. What is it actually like as a personal trainer?
It's pretty much spot on. Like, from my experience, when I walked into the gym, I was 69 kilogram, like that, with abs. Thought I was fit, but I had abs.
Everyone at 69 kilogram has abs.
Well, that's it, exactly. So I walked in and it was like there was 20 PTs in there. I was one of the busiest gyms in Scotland, and one of the best for personal training as well. And there was 20 PTs, a lot of PTs. 18 of them were male, and they were big guys. First time I walked in, I was like, well, if I'm going to get anywhere in this gym, I need to be like them. Then you hear about steroids, and you're like, right, okay, you must have to have steroids then to get to where these guys have got to. And it's about authority, mate. It's about, number one, it's about how you conduct yourself on the gym floor anyway. Regardless if you're a big, loud person, some people aren't as loud as that. So when you go in, the members are, because there's quite a high turnover of PTs in these gyms, the members are quite sceptical, because it's like, there's another new face. They go to book in for a class and it's this other new person. And they kind of look at you and they're standoffish. And then actually, by process of elimination, just time spent there will actually get them to go, oh, that's that guy that takes that fat burn class now and again. And they start to get to know you. The biggest piece of advice I'd give to any personal trainer going into a busy gym is to get to know your peers. Have coffees with the right ones that match your values and stuff like that. But don't spend any time in the staff room. Don't spend any time chatting to them too much. You should be connecting with people that are a level above you, that you can sponge the knowledge off of. There was a few in there that I got a lot of knowledge from, but then it came to a point where it was like blind leading the blind, because you start to realise that no one's actually getting external help. It's all under the one roof here, and we think, well, what worked for them is going to work for us. So yeah, there's a lot of ego in it, and it's why a lot of coaches go to gyms and get pushed to the bottom of the pack almost, and just stay in the little. But equally, mate, you get those people who should be. How did you get so busy? I went to the busiest guy in there and I said, why are your classes, why does everyone know about them? Why are you the busiest PT? And he was actually the worst with his knowledge.
Right.
But it was people skills. He just made people feel amazing when they left. He used a bar and they all just cracked on, where everybody's like, you have to do this with training and these training plans. He just made people feel amazing when they left. And I went, that's my cup of tea, because it suited me as a person. Customer service.
Moving away from the PT then, that transition into online coaching, what are some of the biggest challenges that online coaches, or mainly what did you face as the biggest challenges to convincing someone, look, you had that imposter syndrome for taking someone's money physically for training them. What were those imposter syndromes, or were there any, for starting an online coaching business and having that confidence that you could now help people online as opposed to in person?
Just it ties into what I was just saying there, mate. Well, a biggest strength of mine was when I meet someone in person. We get to know them, I get to show empathy, I put an arm around them, but I also push them in the back to go and get the thing done. I struggled to articulate that online. You know, you can leave voice notes, you can do video, it's just not the same. And I'm not the best when it comes to typing up something that's powerful, grammar, stuff like that. I'm more, and you know, when I was doing that and trying to grow my online business, voice notes weren't a thing. Even with voice notes, somebody, it was weird. And then speaking on the phone is just not that kind of thing with clients. So I struggled to really articulate that over a message, over an email, over a plan that I would send someone. So I always felt that clients would they would engage in my stuff and go, that's great, I love that transformation, I love what you just said there. They would sign up and it would almost be this like disconnect. So that's a bigger struggle for me, and I think a lot of coaches are the exact same now, because they're a coach, first and foremost. They want to help people. They don't feel like they're a marketer. They don't even feel like some of them like they're a business owner. So that's always last on the list, and the hat that they want to wear is, I'm a coach and I want to help you. So for me, it was that adjustment period to, well, right, okay, how do I meet someone or get as close to that human interaction without having it as possible? And it meant being better at asking questions, being better at listening, being better at just going through the motions, going through the hours of it, getting to know my target client as well, because it doesn't matter how well you structure videos, voice notes, your systems, if you've got a wrong fit in front of you, virtually, it's never going to work anyway.
What is a wrong fit back then?
A wrong fit back then, mate, was someone who you sign up to online when they're not a fit for online.
What does that mean?
In other words, they need physical help. They need help in person.
So everybody can't be... So personal trainers and online coaches have to serve different people. Everybody who has had a personal trainer isn't necessarily ready for an online coach.
No, mate, that's I would say it wouldn't be that general, because you get people who sign up to large fat loss programs where it's not tailored. They do home workouts and they get great results. What I would say is that if you're an online coach trying to grow your business and trying to articulate your message, if you're not great at that right now, you might end up with a client who comes to you who has a bunch of injuries, who doesn't want to work out. Your knowledge of nutrition and lifestyle and habits isn't the best. Let's take, for example, someone who's young, who's 20 years of age, stays at the mum and dad's, has no routines or any struggles, has no money problems, speaking to a 45-year-old female who's got 2 kids, a busy, hectic job, stressed, verging on depression, maybe going menopause, maybe. How can they online comfortably articulate what that person needs to get for help? Now, where that person would need is probably 1 to 2 sessions a week going in to see a personal trainer, where you can do a form analysis, where you can break down their nutritional habits as a family. Can you do it online? Of course you can, but it takes a more skilled coach. It takes a coach who has a bit more experience, who understands what that person's feeling right now. And like I said, it goes back to that educational thing.
Yeah, talking about skills and coaches, there's a lot of controversy in the fitness space from what I see on social media with people like Joe Wicks, who I've seen some of his his nutritional guides and his books on, I think it was Lean in 15 or something like that, where a lot of the meals that were in there are actually loaded with loads of calories. What do you think the current state of affair is in the fitness industry for people like Joe Wicks, who are mass market, absolutely killing it financially, of course, but in actuality, does their mass market products help people in the way that people actually need, given that a lot of the stuff in there is flawed?
Yeah. I mean, the fitness industry is so vast, and this is why I laugh when a coach that is in Glasgow with 4 clients slating the fitness industry, right? Because it's like, no, your gym.
What's the name?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But the fitness industry is so big that, and I did a post on this, that Joe Wicks and these guys aren't the most profitable fitness influencers. They're just not. They're small time compared to the guys in the US. There's a guy who created a machine that's like the worst, like sort of like cardio machine in the world. It does not do anything for you. And he's a multi-millionaire. Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, he's got supplements. He knows nothing because it's such a big audience. It's huge. Joe Wicks, like, you've got to look at their market. Joe Wicks' market is mums and dads with kids, right? He proved that in the lockdown with the school stuff, PE. Amazing at marketing. If he's telling you to eat lean and 15, what he's telling you to eat is avocado, which is predominantly high in calories because it's got high fat content. It's still good. It's a good source of fats. It's good fats. Now, if he's swapping mums and dads who are busy, stressed with a toddler and a teenager who are microwaving meals, having meal packs, but he's telling you have lean and 15 meals, which is using whole grains, healthy fat sources, and you're cooking your dinner, that's better. So it's all relative, mate, to what this person's teaching you. It's like Jamie Oliver as well. His market is mums as well, mums and dads, who are busy and who don't have time to cook. So for me, they're changing their market's perception. They're saving them time. Yeah, most of their ingredients are expensive. Do you know what I mean? So what I would say there is that they're doing a good job. I think a lot of personal trainers and online coaches look at that stuff and go, yeah, but do you know that avocado is actually really high in calories? It's like you need to know what you're taking your market from and to.
So it's like a progressive development. What's the better evil in a way? As long as you're making a better decision, what's the problem with the calories? It's not trying to make people the best version of themselves overnight. That's really interesting to hear. What about the online coaching industry then? Because I see a lot of them, see a lot of ads. Obviously, we're active in this marketplace, and they're quite similar to social media marketing. There's this huge community around the nomad lifestyle where you live and work off a laptop, you travel the world. Often you don't have kids or any kind of ties to the UK that would influence a decision to go and live that lifestyle. You're on your own or you're with your partner of choice. And from my experience, that kind of promotion attracts a certain kind of client. And from the fitness perspective and the online coaching side in particular, what do you make of the laptop lifestyle? The online coach who's doing an amazing job by all means, living in Dubai, training clients around the world, and more importantly, why haven't you made that decision to go and do that? Because as far as I'm aware, you're still in Glasgow.
Yeah, mate. So when I started leveraging my personal training business, and I was doing 3-4 hours a day, Monday to Friday. I had the perfect life as a PT in terms of my diary on top of it. And I was like, what's next? What is next for me? Is it in the traditional sense for a lot of people is you go and build online. But I had done online for about 6 months and I just didn't enjoy it. I prefer to meet people, prefer to see people. So when lockdown hit, it was a chance of reevaluating things, and it was like, I made my best ever month. I made 15k from my laptop. So I got that an instant laptop lifestyle hit. Don't get me wrong, I was in Glasgow, but
laptop lifestyle in Glasgow,
Glasgow city centre. But I got the taste for, they're still paying me money without me meeting them. That was the initial taste of it. And then it was a crossroads. It was like, okay, things are opening back up. Shall I go back to the gym, or should I open the gym? And I thought, let's open a gym, because I still love seeing people. And I've got the taster for it. We went in, Cheryl came in the company, had a member of staff, opened the gym, did group training, brilliant. But then as I was doing that, I was speaking to coaches and I was building a program to help coaches, because previously a coach used to say to me, you're doing really well, can we meet for a coffee? And I used to help them, but I was doing both of us a disservice because I was detracting from my main mission, plus I was just telling them what I did, right? And that's not helpful. So then I was building the online coaching program for fitness professionals, and all of a sudden I just loved chatting about it, mate. I was getting money for it. I realised how much more profitable it was. It was my passion. And every time I did a conversation with a fitness business owner and then spoke about fat loss, it reminded me again and again. So, and then we help coaches who think they want that. So the biggest thing I would say, Aaron, is try and understand what you want first, because the laptop lifestyle, you've got great freedom. People want to go to Bali. I've got a couple of girls for Soul Society who are in Bali now. loving life, but they very quickly realise it's 8 hours difference for the UK. Try to chat to clients is a nightmare. Wi-Fi is a bit of a nightmare. So try and understand what you want. Understand that it's a very, very lonely world. See, if you're not part of a mentorship group of people that you can chat to and network with, it's a very, very lonely world. Cheryl, my fiance, she's obviously moved all her clients online. She's online just now, and she misses it. She has regular client events because she needs that touch point. She can go to Spain tomorrow for a week and not have any ties, great. But then when she comes back, she wants to connect with clients, go to bowling with them, go to Nando's with them. It's all these. So it's great having it's a bit like having a loads of money and saying you don't need money. But I would try it. I would understand that before you go and try and chase this laptop lifestyle, understand that, see the business you've got right now, you can fix that model first. Most PTs get to burnout stage and go, I need to be online. It's like, no. First of all, scale left and right, then scale up the way. Most of them don't because they don't know what to do. So they think, immediate thing is, I need to go online. It's like, no, you don't. Could we run a group model? Could we get someone to coach for you? £15 an hour covers your clients and you charge them 50. There's loads of ways to do it. So for me, I would say, first of all, try and establish what you want. Try it out. Don't be scared to go back to the gym floor and do some hours if you think, because it's not online, I want to go back and coach. Go back and coach. Some coaches are scared of that.
What was that income? I asked you this earlier. I think it got lost. What was the income that you were making as a PT before you switched to just having online clients?
I was making about 7.5K.
And as an online coach, how much were you making at the peak of it?
22 and a half. Yeah. But that was 6 months. It was like we very quickly opened the gym. So
what would you say is kind of the main motivation for personal trainers, online coaches to make money? And is it all about money? Is it, it's a very linear industry, it seems, where the more work, the more smart work you put in, there's plenty of clients out there who, talk about wants and needs in marketing. Loads of people need to get in shape, myself included. That is a market that's always expanding because of the Western world and the diet and everything that we live in and the marketing that we consume. But what is the actual kind of motivation behind PTs? Is it all monetary? Is it all freedom based? I'm always yours in that, in every one of these new businesses, it's kind of like you reach the ceiling from what I'm hearing, and then you find something new, find a new ceiling, and then you go on to something new. And do you feel like there's a ceiling with what you're doing right now?
Mate, I think there's a lot of coaches think the money brings stability, money gives options. So at first, I think you want stability. You want, okay, can I keep this job for long term? Can I rely on paying my phone bill every month? Then it's, can I rely on paying a mortgage? Okay, let's go for that, but I'm nervous. Then it's, can we rely on putting stuff by? Can we rely on starting a family? So I think it is money, but it's stability, and money gives you stability, obviously. Then it becomes a point where you start to see the potential. It's like the roof gets lifted and you go, well, I could actually make a good amount of money here, because I also, one of the guys that are girls that I'm with, they're making double me, and I know I can do that too. So then it becomes money, but then once they get that money, they want the next level. And that's the biggest problem, is why I always go back to, like, what do you want? And I used to, for the last 13 months or so, one of the first questions I would ask coaches is, how much money do you want? What's the milestone? And then it's only for the last sort of year I've been like, what do you actually want? Like, never mind what money you want. I know you're probably going to pull out some arbitrary figure. What do you actually want your life to look like? So for me, it was, I want to go to Spain. I want to buy a villa. I obviously need money to buy that. But after that, it's like, there's always like new levels, new devils in it. There's always this next thing that gives you this next amount of problems. So for me, mate, it's like and I can now see clearly that if my business was to close tomorrow, I've got the skills to make money for the rest of my life. And it feels great saying that. So see, now having that in my head, it removes the attachment to wanting more money. Like I said before in previous podcasts, is I have the same conversation every morning since I've made 2K per month right up to 50 plus. I wake up and I'm either excited for the day, or I'm feeling a bit, shit man, is anybody going to leave today? It gets a bit better, the anxiety or the feeling of excitement, and it's never changed. So I've came to terms with that. And then when you come to terms with it, like, most coaches go, I just don't want any more anxiety around running a business. It's like, it's not going to go away. You get better at managing it. You can install some things. And most mentors won't say that to you. They'll say that it's completely free. So for me, that's the position that I found myself in. And in terms of like an income bracket, there'll always be a new ceiling. And if you push through that ceiling, there's always a next one. So right now for me, the next ceiling is really establishing ourselves as the go-to fitness business mentorship in the UK. And that's why me and you are having this conversation, mate.
What do you feel like the average mental health for a personal trainer, online coach is right now?
I mean, I think with the awareness of today's world around mental health, I think a lot of, previously, like I mentioned, personal trainers would be quite guarded. They want clients to look up to them and be this figure of perfect conditions, perfect physique. And now more often coaches and personal trainers are opening up about their struggles. And what's great to see is that it's not just about that you had a lot of weight once. You were, I was fat before, now I've lost the weight and I want to teach you how to do it too. I think it's important for people to share the journey along the way, like those points. What was the milestones that got you there? So right now, I think that I can predict this, that online coaches are going to start getting very lonely, start to feel that they need human interaction, so they might go to a gym and ask, can they do some hours coaching?
Do some cleaning.
Yeah, maybe get the wipes out. But I think a lot of coaches will, once they've done a year of the laptop lifestyle, will start to realise, okay, I need people around about me.
Yeah.
I need that feeling because it's lonely as hell, man, and especially in these winter months. So I think that's the general rule. Personal trainers, I think, will always have that because clients leave more physically. One thing with online coaching is that you could slip out the back door and send me a text message saying you're leaving. Whereas in personal training, if you don't show up at 7 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with me anymore, it's obvious. I miss you. I miss that feeling. So personal training is harder to take when someone leaves.
On that note, there's a lot of stories and there's a lot of guys out there who wouldn't necessarily let their partner train with a male PT, and they're not comfortable with the idea of, let's say, their partner, their girlfriend, fiance, wife doing squats and getting spotted from whatever angle, hands on, hands off, whatever, body positioning, getting too close, however you spot your squats with their partners. Do you feel like guys in that situation are wrong for that, or is that justified?
I mean, it comes in from an insecurity from the guy, doesn't it? But I think if you have a communication with your missus, it's the same in the shoes on the other foot. If you have a communication and you trust each other, and if you trust your missus and she doesn't get a bad feeling or a weird feeling, there's no issue.
Did you hear many stories? I've heard many stories about personal trainers with clients having sex, going into the car park. Does all of that happen?
Yeah, mate. You build strong rapport with people. You do. Like, you build strong rapport with people for a lot of the time. And this is why I'm trying to teach the coaches to not be this person, because not the car park person. But when clients come to you, they're typically in a very, very low place.
Vulnerable.
They are overweight. They're uncomfortable. They've maybe just sent you photos as your starting pictures. So there's a picture of them in their underwear to track fat loss. It's a very big thing. And then they trust the personal trainer. Then the personal trainer starts to get them results. They start to look at the personal trainer as the person that's changed their life. They start fitting into old jeans that they used to have. They start getting more attention from guys. They start going on dates. They then come back and realise that actually this is you that's done this for me. And then it could be that both of them have just built up. Because you've got to remember, Aaron, if someone stays with you for 6 months, twice a week, think of all that time together. That's more time than sometimes people's partners. Certainly more time than a lot of people's friends. So you spend a lot of time with the opposite sex. They look at you as a hero. They put you on a pedestal because you're the person that conveys the stuff they're now passionate about. You're the go-to. And then, of course, mate, that's what ends up happening is, if it comes to a point where they're so close that the messages end up changing from a working relationship to, what are you doing after this? That kind of thing. So it's about, for me, I always think that, and this could be controversial, but I think a lot of females go to guys maybe for that reason, or for the fact that they're more authoritative. The general population go to personal trainers because they want shouted at, they want told what to do, they want told what to eat. That's not the case. That shouldn't be the case. And then when you have that flirty banter or you have that authoritative figure, that can be seen as flirting. And then
which leads on to other things. So it does happen. So guys could be justified for saying that their female partner to avoid that risk. You know, you said it was about insecurity from them, but in actuality, it's just about probability of a female cheating with a male personal trainer just because they spend so much time, they adore them for the results they've helped them get, and they have this influence and persuasion over them because they've helped them so much when they were vulnerable. Damn.
Mate, but that's the same in any workplace.
It's logical though, isn't it? And that's what
I
agree. You know, and I battled, you know, because I've had personal trainers in the past, and me and my partner had the same personal trainer, so we were doing different sessions, because I would say I don't suffer from that level of insecurity, and I have massive trust for my fiance, and I know that there's loads of guys that are watching this right now who would be super insecure for the right reasons though, because not necessarily that they don't trust their partner, but they don't know this personal trainer. They don't know the personal trainer's intentions and integrity.
That's the key, Aaron. Like, if you have communication with your partner, you say, what's your PT like? And your partner can tell you. And if your partner feels, girls know. Girls feel, they can, this is their sixth sense. They know when it doesn't feel right, in which case they should bail.
Or it feels too right.
All right, well, that's it. It feels better. But this is the thing, like,
it feels better.
It's the same in any workplace though, mate. If you've got a boss, right, who is an authoritative figure, who's got the ability to add 5-6K onto your yearly wage because they can give you a pay rise, and if they use that as a manipulation tool to say, look, by the way, you know, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get a bonus. So it's the same.
About what?
A bonus.
Oh, right.
It's different. So there is a big, it's the same in any working or any kind of relationship. I don't think, I would always look at why you would want to go with a guy first. So let's say your fiance wants to go with a personal trainer who's a male, right? They should have a reason for it. It should be that, by the way, if you've seen the results they've got for a mum of two like me, her on the left is exactly like me right now, Aaron. That's the thing I used to get. I used to get people who would come to me and go, that picture you put up, that's literally me just now. And that could be a reason why they want it. But I would say there's got to be a justification of why you chose that trainer.
Makes sense. Let's talk about money then and investing, because you've mentioned there you've had 50K plus months now. You've gone from business to business to business, and obviously changed your approach with every single business that you've worked on or in. What is your investment strategy with all of this cash? Are you pulling money out of the business to go and invest in other things? You mentioned you bought a villa now in Spain. Or are you reinvesting into the business to grow your team? What does that split look like? And what do you know, this is new territory, isn't it? You know, it's also recent, the success. What would you advise, and what advice do you give to yourself when it comes to investing money and making good, sensible decisions?
So my tactic for investing money at this level now is, business. It took me 3 years to spend on the business because I was in panic mode and collect as much as I can for a rainy day. I went down to London for a seminar. It was the first time I'd branched out, and you know, it was a bit scary. It was like, went to a seminar, realised that I was a small fish. I thought I was a big fish in Glasgow, but it was just in a small pond. Came back up with just so many ideas, started implementing, started standing out, started becoming the go-to guy in my city. And now that first investment just made me go, this is it, this is what you need to do. And I've probably had one or two bad investments, and not many, because I like to think I can go on instinct, and I can read a bit about it. I don't really get sucked into things that are clickbaity. I do my homework, but I'm not shy, mate, to the point that if I had a business partner, they'd probably worry. Because as soon as I find a thing that we need to move the business forward, I go and find the person who can help me with it, and I go and pay them money to do it. And this is why sometimes I struggle with personal trainers who have got 30-40k savings and yet are not willing to put out. You know, for me it was about, okay, if I'm making 50k, 60k, 70k a month, your investment has to look at a percentage of that, whether it's 10% or whatever. So when I signed up to a business mentorship years and years ago, it was £700 a month, and I'm like, I was making 3.5k.
No chance.
But when I woke up on the first of the month, mate, £700 came out of my account. Then I went, okay, I just need 2 clients. Okay, go and get 2 clients. Go and get 2 clients for the stuff you've just learned from paying the £700
Mhm.
person who's teaching you. Great.
Okay.
Now I'm profit only now, in a sense of like starting from zero.
Yeah.
And ever since that, I've repeated that, mate. I've repeated it to the point where I think I've invested close to £200,000 back into the business, not including ad spend. And honestly, I'll never get one of the investments, which was like a business course over emails, wasn't great. But other than that, mate, that's my strategy. It's reinvest back in with the belief that I'm going to the person who's going to teach me the next thing that I need.
So your main focus right now is reinvesting into the business rather than pulling it out to cash flow other different markets.
I bought the villa. I bought the villa.
But is that an investment or is that something?
Yeah, it's an investment. I bought the villa. We're going to spend a year enjoying it.
Laptop lifestyle.
But actually, genuine. Spend the year doing the villa up, enjoying it for a year, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not rush to make it an investment, and then we'll put it up for rent. We'll make money on the side, and we'll go holidays when we want. We'll plan a bit of time in the villa as well, where someone can rent it. Simple. I just love sun.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll start maybe looking at building a family, and that'll be the reinvestment.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it for now, mate. Like, I could get distracted and think about property because someone on my page is talking about property.
Yeah.
I don't need that right now. I just bought a villa.
Yeah.
So I just want to enjoy my job, mate. In terms of, I forgot to answer, but reinvesting back into the staff. The last 4 months has been reinvesting back into fulfillment.
Yeah.
Knowing that in January we're going to be here.
Yeah.
We're going to come out the traps running. Maybe we could take another 30 clients on in the next week, and they would be treated like 5-star clients because the fulfillment side of our stuff down now, the staff members, everything.
Yeah. One of the questions that I always ask clients is, why did you choose to work with me? And that's something I was keen to just learn from you because it's different for everybody. And what was the biggest influence for you to actually make that decision and make the investment?
The biggest thing for me when I was following your social media was that...
Because you did see, I sent you a message about 2 years ago.
Did you?
Saying, hey, love what you're doing. Would love to have a conversation.
Really?
Yeah, in 2020.
Never seen that.
Yeah, you sent a new message, but you didn't scroll up. I'll show you after this.
So, yeah, 2 years ago I never saw it. But recently...
Don't lie to me, it's that scene. I'm only joking, didn't really.
So, no, it was very quick, mate, and I like that. I like when you... I'm not the type to follow someone and absorb their stuff and wait a year to buy from them. I'm just not the type. I'm very much, if I'm following, it's because I saw something I've liked, and most of the time it's the second and third and fourth thing you like. Call it the 7 points of touch that if someone buys. For me, it was just a case of liked the first thing, followed you, we followed back. We had a conversation very quickly, man, and it made me rethink my strategy as well because I've got a BA and things like that, and it was great to speak to someone who owns it and not just some generic VA.
Yeah, or sales team.
It was personal. It was like, let's jump on a chat. Stories were engaging, your Instagram stories and stuff. Great, let's have a chat. Let's look at what we can chat about. We had a call, and it wasn't a sales call. It was just a chat.
Mm-hmm.
What's your business like? Here's what mine is like. So that was the biggest draw, mate. Was the personal approach and you just get a feeling, don't you?
Mm.
And it's hard to put a finger on it. It's hard to. I think you just trust your gut, and if the first thing that helps with that is authenticity, mate. Genuine.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really think is great to know, because being transparent, everyone's using sales tactics and language, and before you can actually sell anything, you learn these techniques in sales because you need something to say and a way to position and phrase it. But then most recently, obviously I've built and grown the agency, had the sales team, which you're obviously aware of, and then I've pulled myself out and started jumping on calls again and abandoning all of the stuff I've learned simply because now you don't have to have a technique to present it. You just tell a story about what's really happened. And I think that's the big contrast for me, which is great to hear in the feedback, because, I think if you ever feel like somebody's not being authentic, you sense it. Even if it's not consciously, your subconscious ticker will be telling you something's not right here. And I think for the next 12 months, especially, and the next forever on social media, transparency is key. And being vulnerable and being open and honest, like you said about the mental health stuff, is what's going to help people connect with their audience the most. And anybody who's painting the perfect picture brings up red flags and caution, because we all know everyone's life on social media is a highlight reel, and nobody's perfect. So yeah, that's really good to know. We've gone now for nearly an hour. What is it that you think is the main thing that helps you find fulfillment and happiness in the work that you do? And that's on a personal level. You know, it could be many different things.
For me, I'm past the stage of like the imposter. I'm past the stage of trying to impress other people, and I've now in a position, because I've fought through I've got the help, should I say, to get to the next level. I'm now in a position where I've built this business, because it's the second run, it's the second business, well there's three, but it's the second one in between the two, and I was determined to build it the way I wanted it. So my diary was going to, if it's this is how we deliver the service. If it's going to take longer to sell that because the boundaries that I've got or the terms and conditions, then fine, we'll take longer. Could I get it filled quicker if we said other things? Yep, but it's not in line with me. So for example, mate, I don't like having back-to-back calls every day because it drains my mental capacity. I'm much better served delivering to a group. And then when I do have my one-on-one calls, they're way more powerful because I have the emotional bandwidth, I can deliver it. So that was a big thing for me. So the way I set the business up now is I set it up to grow it to what I'm happy with. So like I said, if we got more clients, it wouldn't affect the business because it's set up in a way that's going to keep it tailored to them. It's going to make any new client I get, they're just an addition to the group, to a protected community that actually lift each other up. We always say like 2 things we want from a coach is equal parts generous and ambitious. That's all we want. We don't want you to come here as a great salesperson or the biggest guy or girl in the town. It's like, come here with just being generous and ambitious. Because if you can help another coach first before you then get help back, it's a winning mentality. So for me, I set the business up how I want it. I knew I was going to buy the villa. I thought it would take 5 years. It took 2 years. I set the business up how I want it. I got the right people in. I'm not doing stuff I don't like because I don't need to anymore. Did all the stuff I don't like. I outsource. I train people up to do the stuff I don't like. And now it's just, let's add people to the business.
And is that what gives you that happiness?
That's what gives me the happiness, mate. I just love people coming to me and saying, my life's changed. You know, I had Jordan recently just come and saying that, you know, he came to me. He actually came to me and said, Chris, it's a big investment, mate. I need to make it back within 30 days. The kids are going back to school and you need to get this and you need to get that. I said, look, mate, that's usually a red flag, is that someone wants to make money back in 30 days. But if you can give me 12 months, then we'll make it work. 14 days later, he makes the money that he needs to make, the investment back. And now he's just done his end of the year review. He's just got the perfect work-life balance. He's all online. And that's the stuff, mate, that just makes me go, I know we're doing a good job. And any comments about the community, if someone says, this is a community like no other, I'm like, perfect, because the community is good. It's better than me because there's 70 people, 70 brains, 70 times stronger than me because they're the ones that are sharing and connecting.
Yeah. And that's what gives you that joy.
Yeah, mate, that's it. Instagram has been the best place to message me. The Coach's Mentor, YouTube channel, The Coach's Mentor, and TikTok, The Coach's Mentor, which is quite empty just now, but we're getting there. It's going to be full. So yeah, just drop us a DM if there's anything that I've said today that you're like, light bulb moment, happy to help, especially if you're that PT, especially if you're sitting there, you know, thinking about switching careers. Like, we've got free stuff that we can give you to make that switch. If you're at the 3K, 4K and you're burnt out and you just need a conversation about what the next path looks like, because I remember it, there's no way out. Like I said, it's like charge a 5 or more. There's way more ways to do it. So if you're at that level, let me know. I guess, yeah.
Last question is, if you were just looking back to that moment where you were transitioning from Ladbrokes gambling facility to your personal trainer, looking back on that journey, what advice would you give to yourself? What one word or one phrase would you tell yourself from where you are right now to give yourself back then?
Get help. Just get help. Not from the PT sitting next to you. Not from who you deem the most successful. Get help from the people who are churning out successful personal trainers. Success leaves clues. And go bigger than your city.
Would you have been ready for that advice back then?
Yeah, yeah. Because as long as it followed, by the way, you know that's not the way to do things. So, for example, the 20 PTs in my gym sold blocks of sessions because everybody passed it on. So I would be if you told me that. If you told me, look, there's another way, here's how it's happening. It's like, really? Yes. So I would be ready, mate. I'd be ready.
Bro, I just want to say thank you for coming on, sharing, being so transparent. You're the first guest of the 365 podcast. You can put that on your mantelpiece and keep it there forever. And more than anything, I'm happy that we're connected and that I get to contribute ideas to what you're doing, and you know, the validation you have with the success stories and the people that you've already helped. That is a legacy, and I think sometimes it's downplayed because we're coaches, because it's what we're supposed to do is get our clients results. People are like, yeah, whatever, but you're doing it and you're helping people on a mass scale and looking to do even more and have a bigger impact because it makes you fulfilled and happy. So big respect, big love, and yeah, hopefully we can do this again and talk about all the growth very soon.